I'm comparing the ZV-1 right here to the a6400 with the kit lens, and then I'll do the same test with the Sony 10 to 18 millimeter image stabilized lens, just to kind of compare, is it worth carrying around the extra weight for the a6400, or just go with the ZV-1 where it's all in one. Granted, you get the interchangeable lenses with the a6400, but the zoom range on the ZV-1 is basically 24 or 28, depending if you have active stabilization on, to about 70, so it covers most of your needs. So it's just a quick test I was doing for my own decisions to decide which one I was going to carry around, and then decide, is it really worth, is there that much image quality gain with the a6400 in daylight? Nighttime would be completely different because it's a 1-inch sensor in the ZV-1 compared to an APS-C sensor in the a6400, so there would be better low light. The only thing is, with the ZV-1 you have a 1.8 to 2.8 lens, and on the kit lens it's 3.5 to 5.6. And on the 10 to 18, it's a straight f4 throughout, but that's still a lot less light coming in through the lens, so it's a much faster lens on the ZV-1. This is a walking test with the Sony ZV-1 on standard stabilization versus the a6400 with just the image stabilization from the lens on there, just to compare apples to apples. This is with the kit lens, 16 to 50, and so it's just going to be a quick walking test just to see comparing, and then I'll do another test with the same lenses but have active stabilization on the ZV-1. I do have, I'll put in a picture, I'll insert it here, where how I have the testing going. I have the Sony Bluetooth grip, then I have the a6400, and then mounted to the a6400 I have the ZV-1. So you get a good idea of how I did the test. So this will just be a quick walking test for each. Oh, that was me just slipping there. So here's holding with two hands with the grip on the left hand and holding the hand grip of the a6400 to see how the stabilization is. So now the ZV-1 right here has the active stabilization on, so you can see it's cropping in a little bit more. And the a6400 doesn't have active stabilization. That would be the ZVE10, which I don't have. But we'll see how the colors come out. They're both on auto white balance. 1/60 shooting 4K, 1/30. Now the screen is a little bit brighter on the a6400, the LCD on the back, than the ZV-1. And the other thing is, you can use Catalyst Browse on the ZV-1. You cannot on the a6400. It doesn't save the gyro data. Here's the Sony ZV-1. Active stabilization, so it is cropped in more. Both cameras are at 1/60. The 1018 is at 10 millimeters, but there's no in-body image stabilization on the a6400. So this is just the lens doing all the stabilization. I'm going to walk a little bit slower to give it a fair test. Gives you a good idea of the field of view. Because obviously with the 1018 you'd have to carry that and the kit lens, or the 10-105 or the 18-105 to kind of go out and shoot for a day. With the ZV-1 you could probably get away with the one lens. Trying to get out of the shadow. Yeah, you can see the 1018 is much wider field of view. But you do have the stabilization issue, where there is no, except for the lens, there's no stabilization, so it does have an impact, because it is hard for people to watch the videos if they're bouncing around a lot. And again, I'm using the Sony Bluetooth wireless grip and remote. But the ZV-1's attached to the a6400 on top of it, and then they're both on the same grip, so it doesn't give it any advantage either way. I just prefer it for a different way to hold the camera. If you can see the birds landing there. So here, I'm back to the kit lens to just be able to do a fair advantage of the zoom for the birds. That's shooting directly into the sunlight. And then that's shooting pretty much at a 45-degree angle to the sun. I can't walk on the water just because I don't think it's complete. Well, it's obviously not completely frozen. So I'm going to zoom in on the kit lens first. So there's the ZV-1 compared to the a6400 with the 16 to 50 kit lens. So here's with the sun behind me. This is probably a better for image quality. How do I get? So here's zooming in on the ZV-1 with clear image zoom, and sorry I can't do them both at the same time. That's the a6400 with clear image zoom with the kit lens. So it's 50, which is 75, and then I think it gives you another 1.5, so it's about 110. And the ZV-1's about the same, 105, 110. So you can compare the image quality. I don't know if I said it, but it's on auto white balance. I tried to do it as much automatic as I could. The only thing I locked was the shutter speed at 1/60 on both cameras. The a6400 screen is definitely brighter, and you also have the viewfinder you can use, which is helpful, but look at all those ducks. Hopefully that means in early spring. That's the last day of January in Illinois. I don't know if this is kind of a pre-mating thing or what it is, but there's a lot of ducks. And they don't like me here, so it's kind of strange they don't stay in the water versus. So that concludes this video. It was just a quick one just to see, comparing the weight of the a6400 to the ZV-1, seeing if you actually have to have the 10 to 18 lens or if the kit lens would work. This with my arm fully extended out with the ZV-1 and the a6400. Should probably hold it more like that. So hopefully this is a decent test. It's me looking right into the sun. This is it at an angle. So I mean, I think it's definitely doable. And it's such a lightweight system. And to get great 4K video out of the ZV-1 with something that'll just pop in your pocket. All the audio for this was on the ZV-1 mic just because it has the wind cover. So that actually helps. A6400, I'm sure the wind noise would be pretty high. It's a pretty windy day. And I didn't want to hook up external mics. I wanted pretty much out of the box what you would be comparing. Granted, the 1018 would be an additional purchase, but basically the camera-wise, I wanted to keep it that way. Switched it to the ZV-1 with just standard stabilization, so it's more the same crap as the a6400. It's just the lens doing the stabilization, so there's no electronic stabilization happening. Just making sure that I was recording. Last time it didn't record. That's me looking into the sun again. Guess I should be higher up. I'm looking at the ZV-1 screen and not the a6400 because I can't see it with the other one on top. So again, hopefully you liked the video. I was just doing it for a comparison for myself. You know, does it make sense to carry the 1018 as well as maybe like the 18105, which I didn't test because that wouldn't be a fair comparison against the ZV-1's built-in lens. So I used the kit lens just to make it a fair comparison between the two. So again, the ZV-1 on the screen does not look too bad, the stabilization. I'll have to see. And again, you could run it through Catalyst Browse, but you'd have to shoot at 1/200 in order for the actual software to be optimized to work with it. So for me, I've just been going with active. I mean, I probably should use Catalyst Browse a little better. I'm hoping that they'll make an M1 for the Mac, make the software compatible with that, so it takes full advantage of the faster processor. But for right now, it's pretty slow. So it's not like you could do a long clip with that. So put it up higher here. Yeah, that's actually probably more like I would do it. Again, it's hard because there's two different lenses in a screen, so I'm looking at both. So hopefully it still makes sense to you guys. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Click like if you do. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this.